If you ever find out who did them, they deserve to be under the jail.
Okay, so they ought to get the maximum sentence.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Listen, I don't care who you think you are or how smart you believe yourself to be. There is no way in hell you could ever escape these places. Sorry to spoil your fun, but there's no Shawshank Redemption happening in these 5 prisons, that's for sure.
At the end of murdering all the people on earth, I was going to murder my own family and then take my own life and become God.
There are many criminals in the world. Serial killers, terrorists, bombers, rapists, pedophiles, drug dealers, the list goes on. And there must be places that are both safe and secure enough to keep those hardened criminals detained for society to run and function. You can't have people walking around scared for their lives constantly. I've done the research and gathered a list of the top 5 prisons nobody is escaping from and frankly wouldn't even dare to try. If you think you could come up with a way to escape, then please let me know how in the comment section below.
And you don't blame me if I say I hope you never get out of this place.
I hope I never do either.
First on the list we have ADX Florence. ADX Florence is a so-called supermax prison designed to house the most dangerous people in the whole of the United States. Located in Colorado, it opened back in 1994 out of necessity. Apparently there were too many bad guys, if you know what I mean. This prison, also known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies, is due to its remote location and very stringent security measures. It utilizes extensive solitary confinement where the inmates are forced to sleep, eat, and defecate in their cells and are only allowed out for an extremely limited time. This prison houses notorious criminals like Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber. For those who are unfamiliar with the term, it's a contraction of the words university, airline, and bomber, because he simply targeted those places. He pleaded guilty in 1998 and was sentenced to 8 consecutive life sentences, but committed suicide in 2023. Prison life isn't for everybody, I guess. Speaking of prison not being for everybody, next up, located in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, is our second prison on the list, Guantanamo Bay Detention Camp. It was established in 2002 by the United States with the intention of keeping people captive who were suspect of having connections with terror groups like Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and were therefore deemed a national threat. The camp is surrounded by water on 3 sides, making it almost impossible to escape. Guantanamo Bay uses very strict access control and highly advanced surveillance technology and military personnel to ensure that nobody leaves. The prison has received a very poor reputation, not only because many inmates have been subject to immense torture and other brutal treatment, but also because many are held without cause and never had the fair trial everybody deserves. Some have been detained for over a decade without a trial. Guantanamo Bay also houses people like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who allegedly orchestrated the whole of the 9/11 and has been imprisoned ever since. Next up is probably the most extreme prisoner of all, the Black Dolphin Prison, located in Soletsk-Orenburg Oblast, Russia. This prison is a high-security prison established in the year 2000, designed to house the most cold-blooded and dangerous criminals in the whole of Russia. This includes pedophiles, serial killers, terrorists, cannibals, and much more. In fact, the average body count of the 700 inmates is 4. You know what I mean. Once you get in, you're never getting out. Every single person in the Black Dolphin prison is sentenced to life, if not more actually. The prisoners are fed soup 4 times a day and are only allowed books, newspapers, and radio. Every time inmates are being moved, they must wear blindfolds, which also applies to new inmates arriving at the premises, so they have no way of mapping out the area and planning any type of escape. Each cell is locked with 3 steel doors, and only 90 minutes a day are the inmates allowed in a slightly bigger cell where they can move around just a bit. so no prison basketball like in the movies for these fellas. This prison is also notorious for the use of very aggressive guard dogs, which only adds to the security side of things. It houses people like Mikhail Popkov, dubbed the werewolf, for raping and murdering 78 women. Jeez, that's many. Fourth on the list, located in the heart of Paris, the capital city of France, and established over 2 decades ago, is one of the largest and most secure prisons in the whole of France, La Santé prison. This prison takes surveillance to another level. They have a dedicated intelligence unit that monitors these inmates 24/7 and scouts for the slightest suspicious behavior. There's simply no way to plan an escape unless you keep it to yourself, of course. The prison is also surrounded by 45 feet tall walls, which certainly doesn't make it any easier to escape. La Santé was notoriously known for its public executions. It had a guillotine installed on the pavement right outside the prison, and sure made good use of it. The second to last public execution in France was held at this very site, which was of burglar and double murderer Max Bloch on June 2nd, 1939. Only 22 days before the decision to ban public executions in France was made. As a bonus fact, if you try looking up the prison on Google Maps, you'll notice it is completely blurred out, just as a cherry on top in the security department. On May 8th, 1978, a man named Jacques Mezrin somehow managed to escape the prison and went on to become the #1 threat in France. If you'd like a video on prison escapees, then please let me know because I am more than willing. Lastly on our list, we have a bit of an odd one, located in Port Arthur, Australia, and established in 1830. This prison took a completely different approach. Rather than keeping every inmate in close confinement, they forced them to perform slave labor such as felling trees, smashing stones, and much more. If one did not comply, they were whipped and further punished. Later, a new building was erected in the prison, designed to test a new form of punishment, namely isolation. What sets this prison apart from the others on the list is also that it gave the illusion of semi-free reign, meaning security was never right in the face of the prisoners, constantly tempting them to try to escape. The catch was, however, that there was ample security, fences, guards, watchtowers, etc. As if that wasn't enough, the area was also bordered by dense natural terrain and surrounded by water filled with sharks, making it not as easy to escape as one might think. Imagine how much this affects one's psyche, when every single day you look out at freedom but know you can never reach it. It gives me flashbacks to when I saw that one Batman movie when Bruce Wayne is in the prison where you could escape by climbing up the hole, but no one could and it just destroyed them. There are many different types of prisons. These were the hardest to escape from. I wonder what the future brings. Maybe one day we'll have prisons underwater or on the moon for that matter. Who knows? Maybe there are already top secret prisons like such. We just don't know about them. What do you guys think? Either way guys, that's gonna be it for this video. It's honestly crazy to think about how there are people deemed to live in the same small cell for the rest of their life. And the fact that there most likely is a prison just within a few miles of where you are right as we speak, where people experience this. Just like La Santé prison in France. The only thing separating freedom from captivity are those tall walls. I personally often forget the seriousness of the matter, but I sure am glad killers aren't roaming the streets where I live at least. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts below. And until next time, go explore!
For killing 17 men.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.